Huskies go 2-0. They're facing Clark University.
Slam! Oh! Anthony Roberts! Ball three, gets it! A 3-point! Oh my goodness!
Inside of St. Cloud State's Hollenbeck Hall, it's time for Friday Night Huskies Hoops, presented by FaceTime Business Resources. Moments away from tip-off, Sam Getzinger joined alongside Blake Tyson, set for a fun doubleheader between St. Cloud State and the UMary Marauders. First, it's the men's team. Before we get to the starting tip, let's get you the starting lineup. So we're going to start with the home team in St. Cloud State. Ryan Bagley, the point guard today. He's followed along with Caleb Donaldson, Anthony Roberts, Matt Willard, and Josh Tomasi. So again, that's Bagley, Donaldson, Roberts, Willard, and Tomasi is starting lineup that head coach Matt Reimer has really found worked out useful to start off this season. For the visiting UMary Marauders, 3-5 on the season. They're going with Kai Huntsberry, Trayton Mattern, Cam Warrens, Gertadis Urbadavicius, and Cade Amundsen. Once again, Sam Getzinger, Blake Tyson. Blake set for a very fun doubleheader today.
Yeah, it should be a great one, Sam. You're absolutely right. Like you mentioned, the men's game here first tipping off in about a minute or so here, and then the women's game will tip off later on tonight, right around 7 o'clock. So it should be a great matchup here tonight. Happy to be with you on the NSIC Network.
Yeah, and the men's team to start things off. The women's team taking on UMary coming up later on tonight. 7:30 start time for that game. Both of these games are on the NSIC network. First time these two teams will meet this season. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be here with you throughout the evening. Tomasi and Amundsen getting ready to start things off. The Huskies in the white uniforms, UMary in the dark blue. Getting the final checks, getting things ready to go. Huskies hoops back in the Granite City, a winter wonderland outside, but things are heating up here inside of the campus of St. Cloud State. Starting tip won by St. Cloud State. Blake, 20 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Caleb Donaldson to lead things off, the junior guard from Bloomington, Illinois. He'll dump it off to Roberts. Now back to Donaldson, working with the right hand. Down low, Roberts on his man. Now back out for Tomasi. Loose ball, picked back up by St. Cloud. Bagley on the drive. Donaldson on the elbow. Willard, good possession here for St. Cloud. Need to get a shot off. 5 on the shot clock. Willard, hard three-pointer. Did get some piece of the iron, but the shot's no good for the first one of the game.
Yeah, tough opening possession for St. Cloud State, Sam. Some decent ball movement, but they're never really able to find open space on the floor.
Now down low, turnover by UMary. St. Cloud, see if they can strike first blood. Bagley on the drive, dumps it off for Tomasi. Rolling ball, out of bounds. That's Marauders' possession. A little too quick on the fast break.
Yeah, St. Cloud State, they've got to be advantageous today in the turnovers. We'll talk about that later on in the broadcast, Sam. But you got to find ways to get quick baskets in transition like that. But you got to stay composed as well while you're rushing down the court.
And Blake, I think that's a good segue into going into our St. Cloud keys to the game today.
Yeah, St. Cloud for them, first of all, defending in the perimeter for them defensively. They've got to do a much better job. They've got to force Marauders to take long twos like that one we just saw there. They're not doing a great job of hitting their open shots on the field goals.
That was Trayton Mattern with the shot. First one for UMary, in and out. Now Roberts thought about a three-pointer. Back out for Bagley. St. Cloud 0 for 2, and there's the second turnover of the game so far for the Huskies. Sloppy start so far, but now for UMary in a scoreless game in the first about minute and a half. What are the keys for them?
Well, for UMary, they've got to find a way to limit turnovers, and right now they're leading that turnover advantage, just up 1 early on in this matchup. They're a team that typically has more turnovers than they do turning the ball over themselves. So that's number 1 for them. Number 2, they've got to find ways to get some secondary scoring. We've seen a lot this season out of Kai Huntsberry, but everything else has been pretty much shut down. Kai Huntsberry averaging 18.8, but no one else over 10 points per game for the Marauders.
Well, Donaldson there, too hard on the drive. Offensive foul. That's back-to-back possessions to start off the game today against UMary. That just results in no basket and a turnover. Now here comes Kai Huntsberry for the Marauders. See if they can start off the offense. Sloppy play here in the first 2 minutes. Again, Huskies basketball on a Friday night on the NSIC network. Urban Avicius on the free throw line, showing off the post moves. Left-handed lay-in is good. First 2 points up on the board go to the D1 bounce backer, Tadas Urbanovičius. Tomasai on the baseline now for St. Cloud, trying to answer. Tomasai, no good. Good rebound by UMary. Cam Warren skies up for his first one of the day. Huntsberry on the left hand. Good dish out. Too high. Now out into the corner. Three-pointer coming off the front of the iron. Warrens once again can't convert. St. Cloud still scoreless. Bagley thought about the three. Down to Tomasai. Through contact. Can't get the layup. Rebound picked up by Urbanovičius.
A lot of contact down there in the low post, Sam. Surprised St. Cloud State didn't get a whistle right there. But hey, the Marauders have done a good job defending inside the paint, and that's where St. Cloud State's going to like to score a lot. So Marauders' game plan so far working out.
Mattern gets a screen. Now double coverage. The Huskies have to switch it defensively. Good turnover forced by St. Cloud. Donaldson on the rush to Roberts. One hand in the jam. Roberts ties the game at 2. First basket of the day for St. Cloud State, and it's an emphatic one.
Yeah, it is an emphatic one, and it comes from Anthony Roberts. And we got to get used to seeing that. You've been used to seeing it over the last couple of years for him, leading scorer for St. Cloud State, one of the tops in the NSIC as well, right around almost nearly 20 points per game, 19.6.
And UMary answers right away with the three-pointer. That was Kai Huntsberry. Good response here for the Marauders early in the first half in game 1 of our doubleheader. Now Tomasi, top of the key. Bagley, the point guard today in the starting lineup. Willard driving right hand, slowly lays it in, and it's good. St. Cloud offense starting to find a rhythm here, back-to-back possessions with a bucket. Both of them coming inside of the paint as well. Urbanovičius, jab step, now working on Tomasi. Good post moves once again. Can't get it to fall, and Tomasi able to pick up the rebound. St. Cloud showing off the fast break offense, and then they slow things down. It's been a common set so far here in the first half, Blake.
Yeah, we tried to see them get running in transition a little bit. We saw the dunk from Anthony Roberts in transition. So when they can get into that set, go quickly, they do really well. But the Marauders have done a good job forcing St. Cloud State into some of these half-court sets.
Good moves by Roberts right there for the offensive board. Bagley down low. Tomasi double team. Had some contact from behind, and the second chance points are good.
Well, that late pressure from Huntsberry forced the initial miss, Sam, but a nice job from Tomasai to get his own rebound, go back up for the putback, and that's going to be a matchup we'll want to watch almost all day today, Tomasai against Urbanovičius.
Now in the corner, Mattern looking to respond for a three. Just a little too strong. Roberts pushing the pace the other way. Bagley will slow things up as he picks up his dribble. Roberts taking his time. Now Bagley setting up the offense for St. Cloud. Weak screen there by Roberts. Tomasi out to Bagley. That would have been a long three-pointer. Roberts, just an errant throw to the basket, and that one goes out of bounds. Well, Blake, 6-5 so far here in the first half. St. Cloud offense showing some good poise in the past couple of minutes. We'll step aside here on the NSIC network. More Huskies basketball coming your way next.
All your favorite SCSU athletic teams are on sale right now. Return to all the energy, action, and excitement that only you can bring to St. Cloud State University. Don't waste any time. Head over to the new and improved SCSUtickets.com or call 1-877-SCSU-TICKS and get back in the game today. Huskies fans, It's time to ring in the new year as two of Minnesota's most prestigious hockey teams face off on the shores of the state's most famous river. It's the first ever Mississippi River face-off as your Huskies welcome in the Bemidji State Beavers in a special New Year's showdown. Tickets are in limited supply, so don't hesitate. Visit SCSUtickets.com or call 1-877-SCSU-TIX.
Out of the timeout, 1-point lead for St. Cloud State. The offense has come alive after quite a few possessions to start off this opening game of the doubleheader here inside of Hollenbeck Hall without a basket.
Yeah, we opened the first 3 minutes. We saw 2 points on the board. And then the next 2.5 here, we've seen it pick up another 9 points added on.
Devin Franks with his first touch of the basketball. Little too hard going to the basket. His layup won't fall. Luke Taylor also in the game for the Huskies as well. And now Bagley and the boys in white will set things up, leading by 1 once again. 3 different scores in the game so far. Down low to a cutting Donaldson. Restricted arc. Great move, and he gets to the basket for 2.
A beautiful move right there from Donaldson. And St. Cloud State does a lot of off-ball movement. That springs Donaldson free down in the low post. A nice little fake to the right. Goes back up on the left.
And now the UMary Marauders with a couple of changes out of the timeout. Taylor too aggressive. And that will be the first foul of the game so far. Good chance to bring up St. Cloud State and their head coach, Matt Reimer, entering his 18th season. Still young in the season so far. Got him 4-5 so far overall, 1-2 in conference play, and there's still plenty of time to turn it around for head coach Matt Reimer.
Yeah, it's early on in the season. St. Cloud State barely into the schedule, and so you're right around 500, which isn't a terrible spot, right? I mean, you could be doing much worse. So Matt Reimer and his coaching staff, still lots of time to work with this squad. It's a bit of an experienced squad, but a unit that hasn't done a lot of winning the last couple of seasons. So that's the next step, trying to develop this team and pick up a couple of more W's along the way.
Couple too many errant passes there for UMary. Finally found the out-of-bounds markers, so St. Cloud will regain possession, now increasing their lead up to 3 points here. 4 players with 2 points for the Huskies: Donaldson, Roberts, Willard, and Tomasi. Only a couple of them on the floor right now. Back out for Roberts. And that one's no good, but he did get some contact.
I think that was Mattern down inside the restricted area, Sam, and it just leaned into Roberts a little bit, so I'll put him to the free throw line here for a couple. And I've been really impressed with Roberts here early on in this game, asserting himself. Not like that's something we normally don't see out of him, but doing a really good job, slashing his way into the lane. That's the type of player you'll see out of him, and he's going to do a good job on the inside.
First one's good from Anthony Roberts, 74% from the line. They are going to charge that foul to Valko Radakovic here for UMary, so that's his first one of the game. The second one from Roberts is up as good as well. That's going to be a big point you touched on, getting those free throws to go down and especially getting to the line play.
Yeah, St. Cloud State, when they get to the free throw line 15 or more times in a game, they've won every time this season. So for St. Cloud State, that's kind of a number you want to hit. And obviously when you're getting to the line, it puts your opponent in foul trouble and you start to get into the reserves, into the bench a little bit more. And then that's where you can find some mismatches and exploit things. And St. Cloud State has done a good job of that here so far already.
How about the half-court press here early in this first half? UMary, I don't think they were ready for it. Took them a little bit to break it and cross the timeline. Radakovic. Now the ball's back out to Warrens on the wing. Warrens with one hand, a lot of contact, and he gets the rolling layup to fall through. First points for UMary in quite some time.
Yeah, great pressure on that from Mudemer as he gets it now in transition. Was able to get a hand on the ball, and just a great finish through contact.
Mudemer, checked in after the free throws there by Anthony Roberts. Now Donaldson, his first three-pointer, and he's got it. First one for Caleb Donaldson. Make that 5 points to his name today. He leads all scorers. Warren charging on the right hand into the corner. Sipes for 3. Good answer by UMary.
Well, just a bit too much help defense from Bagley. St. Cloud State wanted to push in transition. A tough look not to get it to go, but
that jump ball, possession arrow for UMary.
As I was saying, on that last defensive possession for St. Cloud State, Ryan Bagley got sucked in a little bit too far down into the post, trying to provide some help on defense. St. Cloud State's got to be aware of that. They've, I understand you're okay with giving up some shots on the outside to UMary. They're not the greatest in that area, but you can't just allow wide open looks out of the corner because eventually, those will find the bottom of the twine.
Now Kai Huntsberry hasn't left the floor yet. Sipes, good ball movement as it goes to Warrens on the wing. Here's Jackson. Warrens will bring it back up to the top of the key. Huntsberry, crossover moves, showing off the fancy dribbles. He'll try a three, too strong. Roberts skies up for the rebound. Just under 12 minutes left here. Mudemer with his first touch out for Bagley. Good closeout defense. Bagley, beautiful pass. The lay-in is good. And an offensive foul on the Huskies, so the basket will not count.
That was a beautiful pass from Bagley, but nice job inside to draw the offensive foul for UMary, the Marauders, down inside the paint. And that's where St. Cloud State has kind of lived and died here so far early in this game offensively. If UMary can get down there, stay outside of the restricted area, draw a couple of charges, some offensive fouls, it's really the only way you can slow down St. Cloud State.
Now Radakovic slowly walking inside of the key, off for Huntsberry. Down low, Radakovic, good help defense, but the layup drops for the Marauders. They're now within one. Ryan Bagley yet to score a basket here. Out for Taylor. Bagley gets the screen, has an open lane. A lot of steps taken to the basket, but a foul before the shot. So they're going to wipe off the basket. It's going to be on the Marauders and will be charged to Cam Warrens, his first one of the game. Baseline throw in, not before Gertadas Urbadavicius will check back in, the 6'7" junior forward out of Lithuania. Out of the inbound, St. Cloud leading by one. Bagley with the jump pass. Roberts back to Bagley. Sipes with tight defense, gets the screen, double teamed on Bagley in the baseline. Cross-court pass, Donaldson only has a couple of seconds to put a shot up, and he does. He wanted contact, or at least wanted a call, Blake.
There was a little bit of contact down there, and Donaldson, and initially I thought maybe a poor decision not to pull the trigger on the open corner three, but gets the basket to fall. Probably could have been at the line for an and one, and he's been very good so far for St. Cloud State as well.
Now Kai Huntsberry once again, team's leading scorer. Beautiful pass, finds the cutter, and Sipes his first two baskets of the game. Still striking distance for the Marauders. St. Cloud, whenever they get a point up on the board, and Donaldson will try to do another one here. A high floating three-pointer will fall. But as I was saying, UMary always right there to respond as well.
Well, St. Cloud State does a really good job on that shot from Donaldson. Reading the defender, he elected to go underneath the screen, and that left Donaldson plenty of range outside the arc.
Now Warrens into the corner. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Rebound skied up by Warrens. To the basket. It's good. Great second chance effort there by Marauders, and especially Cam Warrens. Now the Marauders within two. St. Cloud still playing well. Just have to hold out this feisty offense. Mudemer on the wing. Down low for Donaldson. A point forward here for St. Cloud. Can pretty much play all positions on the floor, just like Roberts as he drives in. Taylor for three. Too strong on the basket. Roberts the rebound. Back down low for Taylor. Layup no good. Offensive rebound ripped away. Layup is no good, but the foul is there.
Well, that was a big man rebound right there from Taylor. I mean, he ripped that ball out of the defender's hands for UMary. Good start here for St. Cloud State. Neither of these two teams has been able to pull away, though.
2-point lead for St. Cloud State. Caleb Donaldson so far, 10 points to lead all scorers in this game. 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Got to be impressed with the way he's playing so far.
Yeah, he's having a phenomenal night, Sam, and he's knocking down shots. His ball movement, his movement on the ball and off the ball has been absolutely fantastic. That three-pointer, that last one he hit, did a great job of reading the screen that he got from Taylor. And that's what St. Cloud State's going to need him to do. I mean, usually we see Anthony Roberts having the great nights, but Donaldson's no slouch, in his own right, and having a great night here so far. 10 points already. Really over 50% of St. Cloud State scoring.
2-point lead for the Huskies in the timeout. Game one of a doubleheader here inside of the NSIC network. Sam Getzinger, Blake Tyson joining you all throughout this Friday evening. It's been a pleasure so far. First time the Huskies and UMary will play this season. First of many. Minot State comes into town tomorrow. for a matinee throughout the day between the Beavers and the Huskies as well. I'll be back for that one. Unfortunately, you will not be joining me, but that should be a fun matchup.
Should be a fun matchup. You're absolutely right. And you mentioned these two teams. They'll meet again. Next matchup, Sam, actually doesn't come until February 12th.
So they got some time.
They got plenty of time. So you got to leave it all out on the court here right now, with UMary. And this is a matchup over the last couple of years that's been controlled by St. Cloud State. Last 10 matchups, Huskies are 7-3 in that history, including a 5-game winning streak in that span as well. And last year, St. Cloud State really controlled this matchup as well, winning 3 of 4.
Well, we come out of the timeout. A couple of changes out on the floor for the first time. Cameron Alexander will hop into the lineup. Matt Willard checks back in as well. Luke Taylor will go to the free throw line. Urban Avicius was credited with the foul before the timeout, so Taylor with his first 2 tries at the line. First one's good for Taylor. Blake, he has yet to miss from the charity stripe this season.
Yeah, I mean, when you can get to the free throw line, when you can be consistent about it, that's impressive, especially for a big man. I mean, most big men aren't really known for their shooting abilities, and you look at Taylor, around the rest of the court, he's not the greatest of shooters. So when he can draw the fouls, get down inside the paint offensively, and use his big frame to force, defenders to foul him, if he can get to the free throw line, be consistent there, that'll certainly help shore up some of the deficiencies, in the field, around the rest of the court.
Good body off the bench for St. Cloud. Tomasi will check in. Turnover here by UMary. Roberts picks it up. Willard now beyond the three-point arc. Back for Roberts, and they'll slow things down. Under 9 minutes left here in the first half, and the Huskies with one of their largest leads in quite some time. Now Willard, plenty of space. 4-3, no good. First attempt there for Willard from beyond the arc. We'll probably see that plenty of more times throughout the weekend. Good scorer out of Buffalo, Minnesota. Now UMary needs to answer. Tomasi got ball, but they're going to say he got hand as well. Looked like it was Cade Amundsen who was going up for the floater inside of the paint. So UMary will go to the line first time this evening.
Well, Sam, we talk about on one end, Taylor not missing a free throw. Cade Amundsen hasn't missed one yet this season either.
Well, he makes the first one. Cuts the deficit within 3. For Amundsen, that's his first point of the night. Make it 2.
Well, with a stroke like that, you can see why he doesn't miss a lot of free throws, and this season hasn't missed one. And just didn't even hear anything. He didn't hear that ball hit the net one bit, just dropped right through nice and clean.
Now Donaldson out to the left side. Willard back up top of the key. Donaldson leading all scorers with 10. Looking to make it some more. Roberts, plenty of space. Three-pointer, no good. Cameron Alexander looked like he was right there to put it back down, but that ball took a couple of too many hops to get away from his hands. Under 8 minutes left to go here inside of Hollenbeck Hall in the first half. Amundsen back out for Franks. Now Warrens on the wing. Warrens into the lane through Willard. He'll throw it up off of the window and in. He's got 2 more. We're tied at 20.
And this game's been neck and neck. I actually really like the defense there, Sam, too, from Willard. Did a good job staying in front of his man, and he didn't allow him to cut to the basket. But this game, it's been wire to wire here.
Now Donaldson with a tie ball game. Out of the screen. It's another handoff here from Alexander. Donaldson working around the screen. Plenty of traffic, and the floater's good. The man cannot miss right now. He's 5 for 5 from the field, Blake.
Yeah, and that's a tough look, too. You mentioned it, plenty of traffic. 4 Marauder defenders inside the paint, and you can tell they're willing to allow St. Cloud State to have some of these corner looks and looks beyond the arc, and St. Cloud State doesn't matter. They're still hitting it inside.
And good defense there to give up an offensive rebound, but they were able to block on out. No points there for Marauders, an empty possession.
I haven't seen many of those.
No, we have not. Not for a while at least, since we started off this game about 14 minutes ago. Donaldson, how about another one? 100% for the field so far for Donaldson in the first half. He's got 14 to his name. Roberts, beautiful steal on Amundsen. Roberts, one hand in the jam. Second dunk of the ball game for Anthony Roberts, and we need a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, Jack Nelson, this is a good time for a timeout. St. Cloud State starting to separate a little bit here. The big jam, the big 3. Need to kind of collect yourselves a little bit.
6-point lead for St. Cloud State And just what have you noticed from them? Offensively, this has been a good surge after starting off this first half just completely cold.
Yeah, St. Cloud State's just been phenomenal offensively. We talked about how great Donaldson's been, but Anthony Roberts has chipped in as well. Seen a couple other faces add a couple of baskets for St. Cloud State. I've been really impressed with their ability to dribble, drive inside, and then kick out. And especially with all the traffic inside, they've still been able to pass through that traffic and find those open lanes on the outside, on the perimeter. And the more important thing is St. Cloud State's knocking down those shots. They're not the greatest three-point shooting team, but they're doing a very good job of it here tonight.
And for the head coach of UMary, Jack Nelson, in his first season, you got to imagine you're playing fairly well basketball. It just haven't been able to really get many baskets in to keep up with the pace that St. Cloud's going, but yet you're still in striking distance.
Well, yeah, you haven't played bad. You're on pace to score nearly 40 points and a nice move inside. Gets them up to 22, but the St. Cloud State for UMary, they've done a really good job forcing St. Cloud State into some contested shots. The Huskies have just been making those shots.
Urban Avicius with the last bucket. St. Cloud, 4-point lead. Looking to pick up win number 5. Still plenty of time in this ball game as Bagley kicks it out. Alexander, three-pointer, finds the bottom of the net.
And that's what I'm talking about here, Sam, is St. Cloud State done a great job. Dribble drive, the penetration, you get the kick out, force UMary to collapse down on you. And when the guys on the outside hit those open looks, it's too hard to defend. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, left wide open. Defense miscommunication there. Jacob Jackson with his best opportunity of the night. Couldn't get the three to fall. Now Roberts with the three. St. Cloud cannot miss in the past couple of minutes, Blake.
No, they've been absolutely phenomenal. Roberts now up to 9 points as well. Huskies close to having a pair in double digits here in the first half only.
Mattern will lay it off for Urban Avicius. Out of the screens, three-pointer. Huntsberry, no good. Tomasi the rebound. Here come the Huskies in transition. Roberts on the wing. And like we see from them all game, they'll rush down the floor and then slow things up when they don't see an opening. This one sails into the stands. While we have a moment, Huskies fans, make sure you follow your favorite SCSU athletic teams like you have never done before. Download the SCSU Huskies app and get instant access to schedules, tickets, game day programs, exclusive deals, rewards you will not find anywhere else. The SCSU Huskies app, you can download that today. St. Cloud, a 10-point lead over UMary, their largest of the night. More basketball coming your way on the NSIC network after this.
Hey Husky fans, we've got some exciting news as the WCHA has teamed up with Big Ten Network Plus to broadcast all league games for this upcoming season, and that includes your very own SCSU Huskies. We want to make sure you don't miss any of the action this season. To help you with that, there are an assortment of passes available to you that gives you the option to watch your Huskies and the rest of the WCHA any way you want all season long. Get your subscription now by heading over to Big Ten Network Plus at btnplus.com and make sure to check out the Huskies live on the BTN Plus app.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
But yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Welcome back to Friday Night Huskies Hoops, presented by FaceTime Business Resources. Under 5 minutes left to go in the first half between St. Cloud State and the Marauders. 10-point lead for the Huskies, their largest lead of the night so far. Huntsberry looking to change it. Hard drive into the lane. So much in there, Blake, and he still is able to lay it in for two.
Well, a nice little hesitation once he got inside, Sam. He's got a couple of St. Cloud State defenders that jump up, and once they go up, come down, you can go back up for the easy layup. And so that's one area that St. Cloud State has struggled defensively. A couple of times they collapse, and they provide a little bit of help defense a little bit too quickly. Like to see them stick to their man just a half second longer.
Alexander gets it sent back from Urban Avicius. Now Warren's in transition. Off for, that looked like it was Jacob Jackson, and that's a hard foul on Ryan Bagley. Offensive foul from Marauders. You have to be controlled when you charge the lane.
Yeah, Bagley did a really good job getting his feet set, and when you get your head down like that, you're barreling towards the lane. And sometimes you forget that a defender can set his feet and take that hard charge. So St. Cloud State has done a really, really nice job here early on, especially in the paint. I think defending, and a really nice job drawing the charge there from Bagley. And those aren't fun to take either.
No.
You know you're barreling and you're going to go down and hit the hardwood. So it takes a lot of guts.
Oh, Blake, you're a hockey guy. You know what it's like to hit the ice. I've seen you do it too many times. But you got to imagine on the hardwood, it's not going to feel good. You don't have any padding either.
No, exactly. You're absolutely right. And it doesn't feel good to get hit in hockey when you got tons of pads. But I would imagine it doesn't feel any better falling down onto the basketball court.
Oh, no, absolutely not. 8-point lead for St. Cloud. Sipes back in the game after the last timeout. Warren's out for Huntsberry. Huntsberry running into a couple of Marauders. Now Sipes top of the key. Poked away by Bagley. 6 on the shot clock. Huntsberry double teamed on the baseline. Easy jump shot, and he knocks it in for 2.
And you just can't let him get the baseline there, Sam. St. Cloud State's got to do a little bit better job sealing off. This timeout for UMary that they took a few moments ago has really sparked some things for them offensively. And as well as defensively, Huskies haven't scored since that point. A little short 4-0 run here for the Marauders.
Offensive foul for Luke Taylor. That's his second one. Now up to a 6-point lead for the Huskies. It was at 10 before that timeout, Blake, as you mentioned. Huntsberry in the lane, out for Sipes. Good ball movement here by UMary. Contested three-pointer, and it falls. Huntsberry, an elite scorer here for UMary, averaging just under 19 a game. Just continues to get him to fall. He's now in double figures.
Yeah, he's 5th in the conference in scoring. So you think Anthony Roberts scores quite a bit. Huntsberry just a little bit worse than Anthony Roberts in terms of points per game production. But the St. Cloud State's got to find a way to shore things up, and that's not going to help.
Here we come the other way. Big jam for the Marauders. Jacob Jackson. And he's talking to the fans as it's now a 1-point game for UMary. What a swing, Blake.
Yeah, 9-0 run here out of that last timeout for UMary. It came like you said, it came at the perfect time. We kind of talked about it right when they called that timeout, and it's led to St. Cloud State being a little bit out of sorts. Offensively, they've got to just find a way to get Roberts and to get Donaldson going again here with the ball in their hands and get them a little bit of open space. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing one of those two come out with a little isolation play, just allow them an opportunity to drive in with an open lane. And again, if UMary's going to collapse, I have no problem the way St. Cloud State's been shooting the skin off the ball today to kick it out into the corner.
Well, you say that, Blake, and we have talked about the offense, but they've been scoreless in the last 3 minutes.
It has been tough, but some of the shot selection hasn't been great. They've had a couple of turnovers as well. They've had an offensive foul 2 possessions ago, the turnover right there. I believe 3 or 4 possessions ago there was a turnover as well. So, part of it hasn't been missing shots. It's just been getting an opportunity to get the ball for a good look.
Now Willard gets pushed from behind. Jacob Jackson will get charged with the foul. That will be his first one of the night. That's going to be before the shots. We'll have a sideline inbounds here. Substitution coming in. Cade Amundsen started this game for the Marauders. He'll check in for Jackson after an interesting sequence for him. Slam dunk and then a foul, and then he's out of the game.
Yeah, that's kind of shows how quickly sometimes you can have a hook as Tomasi tries to bang down low on the post. Nice move by Tomasi.
He does. Gets the lay-in for 2. 3-point lead for St. Cloud. 2 minutes left to go until we reach the half. Now Huntsberry, leading scorer for the Marauders, out to Warrens. Warrens, cross-court pass. Amundsen, three-pointer, no good. Willard, the rebound. In transition, Roberts lightly bringing it up the floor. Now Bagley out into the corner. Donaldson hasn't missed yet, and he still has not. Donaldson for 3, 37-31.
St. Cloud State, and that's what I'm talking about with St. Cloud State. The dribble drive, create the defense, force them to collapse down in on you, and then kick it out into the corners. And when you're hot like that from outside the arc, as UMary gets a miss, nice rebound for Tomasi. That's huge for St. Cloud State to be able to hit the open looks.
Roberts, back-to-back three-pointers. 9-point lead for St. Cloud. What a shift in momentum now going back to the Huskies.
That's what I was going to took the words right out of my mouth, Sam. St. Cloud State turned that 9-0 run back into a 9-6 run here over the last 2 possessions.
Under a minute left to go until we reach halftime. Huntsberry onto the wing. Warrens, his 3, no good. Roberts with one hand on the rebound. Donaldson near the timeline will slow it down. Bagley trying to make it back to back to back, but it was tipped before it could get to the basket, and that one falls well short.
UMary's done a good job getting some deflections. It's their second or third block of the night, Sam. That's not an area where they typically have a lot of success.
About a 10-second differential between the shot and game clock. Huntsberry, high on the wing. Now good layoff. Radakovic with the left-handed lay-in. 7-point lead for St. Cloud. Shot clock turned off. The Huskies more than likely will hold for the final shot. Donaldson, crossover out to Tomasi. 3-pointer, and he knocks it in at the buzzer. 10-point lead for the Huskies going into the half. What a way to end it.
Hey, take that lead that you lost, that 10-point lead at 32-22. The big run from UMary and St. Cloud State, able to regroup after that. They take the timeout, they come back, have a great regroup, and take that 10-point lead right back.
10-point lead for St. Cloud. We send it down courtside for Michaela Wrench with head coach Matt Reimer.
I'm over here with Coach Reimer. Coach, you're in the lead right now. What are you going to have to do to continue to hold that lead going into the second half?
Yeah, take better care of the ball, not turn it over, and lead to runouts for them. They've gotten probably 10 points off live ball turnovers for us that have led to easy baskets for them.
Has anything notable happened in the past week that we can take note of?
Well, I think defensively we've been a lot better in the half court when we've been able to get set, and that's something that we weren't last Saturday.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
It all began in this house on the north side of St. Cloud, where Dan was one of 11 children born to Sar and Myra Hagan. One of the middle children, Dan learned early in life the value of a strong work ethic and the need to stand up for himself in the daily challenges experienced by such a large family. The constant competition and the games played in the backyard with his siblings would light a fire in Dan that would serve him well, not only in athletics, but in the business world as well.
And we always had sporting events all year long around the house, and especially basketball in the wintertime. And the whole family, including my dad, he was a 3-sport athlete in high school at St. Cloud Cathedral, also where I graduated from. And so we're all competitive, and so my 2 older brothers weren't about to let me win. And And so I kind of passed that on to my younger brothers and sisters to make sure that I taught them the game the right way, but make sure they wouldn't beat me also.
It was at Cathedral High School where Dan first started to make a name for himself as a three-sport athlete, excelling in football, basketball, and baseball. And he played in the Minnesota High School All-Star basketball game. In the fall of 1977, Dan would enroll at St. Cloud State, where he would pursue a degree in business management while rewriting the record books of Husky basketball. Noel Olson would serve as Dan's head coach for the next 4 years and help develop him into one of the top players in the country.
Well, first of all, coming out of high school, I was recruited by a couple colleges, you know, and Noel and I had a number of sit-down visits, and the thing that was striking about him is he was sincere, and yes, he wanted me to come and play basketball here, but he was equally interested in making sure I got an education and graduated in that, and not that the other coaches didn't, but he just seemed to really stress the ability to get a degree. And not only worried about my basketball playing times, but also what type of a human being I was going to be by the time I left here.
At 6'7", 215 pounds, Dan moved into the Huskies starting lineup early in his freshman year. Demonstrating a rare combination of strength and quickness, his career would get off to a very impressive start.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was probably November of '77, but we were heading down to Gustavus Adolphus down in St. Peter, and so Noel came back to the end of the bunch, back of the bus where I was, and but he said, well, you'll get some playing time. He said, you've impressed the coaching staff during the early fall workouts and the practices leading up to the first game, and but you know, he said, don't get discouraged. He said, your time will come. And it happened that Barry McKay got in foul trouble early in the game, and I remember being at the end of the bench and Noel looking down, talking to assistants, looking down, talking to assistants, and I'm going, man, you know, I wonder if he's really thinking of putting me in, you know. And he ended up putting me in, and the stats speak for himself.
His versatility on offense allowed him to set the single-season freshman scoring record at 482 points, while averaging 17.9 points per game and pulling down an impressive 8.5 rebounds per contest. His remarkable season saw him rewarded by the Northern Intercollegiate Conference as they named him the league's Freshman of the Year, as well as selecting him to the All-Conference team.
And so going forward, after my freshman year, to have the success I did, it only, you know, it drove me to be a better person and a better basketball player by having success as a freshman.
If you think Dan's success as a freshman might be in part to him catching the rest of the league by surprise, think again. He never missed a beat his sophomore and junior seasons, as he averaged 20 points and just under 10 boards per game. Despite the constant double teams and physical approach that teams would take to alter his game, Dan adjusted and continued to flourish. While opponents would try to take away his perimeter jump shot, Dan would blow by them off the dribble to attack the basket. Selected both years to the NIC All-Conference team, he also was chosen for the NAIA District 13 All-Region team, and he was honored as the MVP of the Granite City Classic.
So the game was a lot different back then. It was really an inside game, inside-outside game. I think now with the three-point shot and that, it becomes an outside game with inside help. And we've had Bobby Hagman and Mike Morgan was a senior when I was a freshman. Dan Meyer, Jeff Brown, Randy Fable. A lot of guys that were very unselfish team ball players that really helped us to the success of our program and myself individually.
Going into his senior campaign, Dan was being touted as an All-American candidate and was just 51 points shy of surpassing the sharpshooting Terry Porter for the all-time scoring leadership at SCSU. In the third game of that year, Dan would score 21 points against Eastern Montana to move past Porter's previous record of 1,616 points. Continuing his fine play, Dan would finish his senior campaign averaging 21 points per game and becoming the leading scorer in the history of Minnesota college basketball with 2,136 points. That record would stand for over 38 years until Gage Davis, a fellow Husky, broke the record in 2019.
You know, honestly, I can remember a lot of games and probably most of the games, and I don't remember the moment passing Terry Porter nor becoming the all-time scorer at St. Cloud State. It was something I didn't strive to achieve. It just happened in the flow of my life in college, and it was exciting at the time.
What many people have forgotten is that upon completing his basketball career at SCSU, Dan decided he would play football for the Huskies while finishing up his degree. Showing just how great of an athlete he was, Dan caught the attention of several teams from the NFL. Unfortunately, a separated shoulder would put an end to his football career. After his collegiate days, Dan would remain in St. Cloud working in the banking business. His 3 children, Tyler, Lauren, and Abby, would all follow in his footsteps and attend Cathedral High School, leaving their own footprints. In recognition of his outstanding career at St. Cloud State, Dan was inducted into the SCSU Hall of Fame in 1994 and the NSIC Hall of Fame in 2010. So how does Dan feel today as he looks back over his amazing career?
You know, number one is getting a good education from St. Cloud State. You know, I can't emphasize that enough. I come from a family of 11 and with parents with not a lot of means. You know, the getting a free college education was important to me. I look back at my career at St. Cloud State. Coming from a small Catholic school, you know, all I wanted to do was play basketball, you know, and to have the success I did and graduate from here and be the leading scorer for many years, you know. I always joke around, I said, I think the longer you're out of college, the better you end up being, because the stories become, you know, a little bit embellished and everything else, but it's a real honor to be the first, to have the first jersey retired.
Tonight, the only player in the history of St. Cloud State basketball to score over 2,000 points and pull down over 1,000 rebounds on his way to being selected 4 times to the all-conference team, becomes the first basketball player to ever have his jersey retired at SCSU. Congratulations, Dan.
It's Friday night, Huskies Hoops, presented by FaceTime Business Resources. Sam Getzinger, Blake Tyson, halftime coming to an end. 10-point lead for St. Cloud State, and a big reason why is Caleb Donaldson.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic for St. Cloud State, Sam. 17 points up on the board right now for him, and he has not missed. 7 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. St. Cloud State in general has been great from beyond the arc, but Donaldson's done a phenomenal job, whether it's penetrating or when you see Anthony Roberts drive and then kick it out for St. Cloud State. He's been in the corner waiting for some wide open looks out of the corner for threes. He's been amazingly impressive and incredibly efficient for the Huskies.
Well, season high for Caleb Donaldson is 29. I think that's on watch to have a different number by the end of the night. Anthony Roberts not too far behind with 12. While we have a moment, Blake, let's take a look at the NSIC standings here before we get into the second half between UMary and St. Cloud. In the NSIC North, it's led by one of the top teams in the country in the top 25, Duluth. 9-0 overall, 3-0 in conference play. And then we see Minot State, UMary, Northern State, Bemidji, Crookston. St. Cloud is tied with a good portion of these teams.
Well, yeah, it's very early on, Sam. I mean, they're one of 5 teams right now that are 1 and 2 in the conference. That's why earlier in the game when we talked about it, there's still plenty of time in the season for St. Cloud State to turn things around and be an above 500 team. That's why we talked about that. There's still so much season left to go. And
UMary, on the other hand, 3-5, a below 500 overall record. But when you're 2-1 in conference play this early, and the rest of the conference is 1-2, you got to feel a little bit comfortable, but not too comfortable, knowing that every game's big because everything can shift right away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And they've been in some really tight games so far this season. We've seen their ability today, for the most part, to keep this matchup tight as a nice feed in transition. Nearly sprung St. Cloud State offensively, but they're a good team, but you got to worry a little bit about that 3-5 record in the 2-1 starting conference play. What is that 2-1 starting conference play? Is it an aberration, or is the 3-5 start a little bit of an aberration?
Yeah, absolutely. St. Cloud out of the inbound, leading by 10. Bagley down low. Tomasi on the jam. Great move by Tomasi on the feed by Bagley. First points of the half.
That's an emphatic way to start the first half, and a beautiful finish from Tomasi. He's up to 9 now as well.
Now Hunsberry on the answer. In and out. That one's tough. That's the second one for UMary that just has not fallen here to start off this second half. We're still early. Sam Getzinger joined alongside Blake Tyson. Doubleheader here on the NSIC network. Women's programs will battle it out here inside of Hollenbeck Hall preceding this game. Start time in about an hour from now at 7:30. Willard, free throw line. Too strong, back to the iron. Rebound picked up by Kate Amundsen. Now here comes Huntberry with a lot of room here on the right side. Good closeout defense here by St. Cloud. Roberts pokes it out of bounds. 12-point lead for St. Cloud. 5-0 run dating back to last half. And the way they've been shooting from beyond the arc as well has been impressive. And now UMary tying it back to one of your keys to the game, Blake, as they just turn it over right here. We'll see the transition offense. Roberts out to Donaldson, poked away by Amundsen. But Blake, as I was saying, the three-point shooting from UMary has not gone so well as Hunsberry drives in for 2.
No, it hasn't. In that first half, 3 of 13 from beyond the arc. And that was one of the keys to the game, was for St. Cloud State to defend the perimeter well, because that's really the only way, if the Huskies could produce offensively like we've seen them do, it's the only way UMary could stay in this game, is to be strong from beyond the arc. And the Huskies were absolutely phenomenal in defending beyond the arc, the 3 of 13 mark compared to St. Cloud State 7 of 13. When you can hit 4 more threes, 4 more than the opponent in even number of attempts, you're going to find yourself ahead more often than not. And I think that's why we saw the 10-point deficit for UMary in the first half.
Bagley on the inbound, out for Tomasi. Back to Bagley. Jab step with the 3. He'll hold off and back out for Will. They'll set up the offense. 10 on the shot clock. Tomasi, plenty of space, dishes it off for Bagley. Bagley, long three-pointer on the way. No good. Offensive board. Roberts swatted away by Amundsen. Now here comes UMary trailing by 10. Hunsberry's been on the hot start. They almost turn it over. Here's Hunsberry for 3. No good. Good hustle on the rebound attempt by Amundsen. Poked out of bounds, and we'll have another stop.
And so St. Cloud State, I mean, they've given up a couple open looks to UMary as well. And so when we talk about that defending beyond the arc and beyond the perimeter, part of that St. Cloud State has been good. They've gotten hands up. They've closed out on shooters. But part of it, too, is UMary. Just they're not a good three-point shooting team. And so even the open looks they've had, they've struggled to hit from beyond the stripe.
Roberts, top of the key, out for Bagley on the wing. Down low, Donaldson. Donaldson with the post moves, right-handed hook, and everything's dropping for Caleb Donaldson here tonight. Still perfect from the field. He's up to 19 points, leading all scorers.
And that's a tough shot to make, Sam. I mean, driving baseline, fading away from the basket, trying to basically diving away from the defender, and a little bit of English on it, bounce it off the rim and kiss it in, but he's been phenomenal.
Lawrence for three in the corner. Great response for UMary. Good start from beyond the arc for the Marauders. Their first one of the half falls. Now Tomasi. Plenty of space. That one rolls off of the leg of Urban Avicius and out of play. Jacob Jackson will check back in for UMary. Another baseline inbound. Brian Bagley will set it up. He finds an open Willard. Jackson on him. Couple of 6'6" forwards as Willard with the pump fake. Now he gets the ball back on the baseline out for Tomasi. Mid-range jumper, and he's good. Josh Tomasi, hot start here in the second half. He's got 4 in the half alone.
Yeah, he's been very good here for St. Cloud State. And you look at that, just kind of a little jumper just inside the corner off the elbow and able to get that to drop. And that's kind of an area that he's pretty successful in. Obviously, a big body, big frame, able to elevate down low in the post as well.
In transition, Donaldson through contact. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line for 2 more. Huskies fans, follow your favorite SCSU athletic teams like you've never done before. Download the SCSU Huskies app and get instant access to schedules, tickets, game day programs, and exclusive deals and rewards you won't find anywhere else. The SCSU Huskies app. Be sure to download that today. Blake, do you have the app?
I do have the app.
I do have the app.
I know you do as well. In fact, I was with you when you recorded that initial promo for that app when it first came out, and you were one of the first people to have it downloaded, Sam. So it's a great app. It's like you said, informational. The game day programs feature that is amazing. Sometimes you show up to a game, kind of scrambling, looking for something to talk about. The app, that program, it's almost got me covered all the time.
You're scrambling all the time, I'll tell you that much. Donaldson knocks down the first free throw. Second one on the way, and it is good. 2 for 2 from the line. Make it 51-38. Cameron Alexander will come in. Matt Wellert will check out.
Sam Donaldson, even with those couple of free throws, still perfect from there as well. And he's been phenomenal for St. Cloud State. And you mentioned it, the season high for him, 29. I mean, that is certainly in jeopardy, especially if UMary can keep this close and force St. Cloud State to keep some of its star players out on the court.
Down low, Radakovic rolls it in. That half-court press is strong for St. Cloud. It took a while for UMary to find an open man, but eventually they do. They get a basket here in this second half. Bagley, no. Alexander down into the baseline. Donaldson hasn't missed yet. He still has not missed. 21 points for Caleb Donaldson. 8 for 8 from the field, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
Well, that's just an easy baseline jumper for him. I mean, pretty much uncovered, and he's going to take that all day. I mean, a little mid-range jumper. I know it's something that's kind of faded away here in the modern day of basketball, but you'll see it a little bit more at the collegiate levels opposed to the NBA, and he absolutely bangs that thing home.
Huskies that one rolls out of bounds, causing for another stoppage. Caleb Donaldson leading the way, 23 points. 12 points for Anthony Roberts. It's a 13-point lead for St. Cloud. This is Friday night Huskies basketball on the NSIC network.
It's time to get back in the game. Tickets to all your favorite SCSU athletic teams are on sale right now. Return to all the energy, action, and excitement that only you can bring to St. Cloud State University. Don't waste any time. Head over to the new and improved SCSUtickets.com or call 1-877-SCSU-TICKS and get back in the game today.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Bobo, do trees tell each other
Huskies
stories?
basketball on the NSIC network coming out of the timeout. Before we get back to the action, let's take a look at some upcoming events presented by SCSUtickets.com. Tomorrow, men's and women's basketball take the court once again against Minot State as both teams look to close out their three-game homestand on a high note. We flash forward to after the holiday break. Men's hockey returns home on New Year's to welcome in-state rival Bemidji State back to town. Then men's and women's basketball takes on Minnesota Duluth on January 2nd. Special start times of 2 and 4 o'clock for those ones. And again, be sure to get your tickets to these events and many more. SCSUtickets.com. Blake, I know you're very excited for that Bemidji game on the New Year.
Yeah, it's my birthday as well, Sam, so it should be a fun one. Hopefully the Huskies come away with another win. Hopefully they come out of their break streaking as hot as Josh Donaldson is right now.
That was Anthony Roberts and Caleb Donaldson connecting there to get the three-pointer. This offense is hot here in the second half. Sipes just snags it away. Now Mattern out onto the baseline. Jackson with a three, rattles it home. Still a 13-point lead for St. Cloud. Good answer by Jackson. Now Bagley on the wing, calling for a screen. Taylor won't give it to him. Out for Donaldson. Donaldson again with 23. Bagley so far tonight has yet to score a basket, Blake. Stand that. There's his first one right there. 2 points on the board for Ryan Bagley on the step-back jumper.
Every starter for St. Cloud State today, Sam, with points off that jumper from Bagley. And he's done a really good job initiating a lot of the offense.
And a great response on the three-pointer. That was Sipes knocking it down from the wing, and we need a timeout on the floor for St. Cloud. Josh Sipes, once again, he's been fairly strong so far for UMary coming off of the bench.
And he's been pretty good from beyond the arc for them as well,
Yeah.
Sam. And
he's now up to 8 points.
we talked about that in the pregame as well for St. Cloud, or for UMary. Just somebody for them has got to find some secondary scoring. I mean, Urban Avicius, we haven't seen much from him tonight, and it's been a struggle for them to find points.
Exactly right. Hey, fans, want to make sure you head over to the official St. Cloud State Sideline store. There you can find the gear that fits your needs, and then you can cheer on your Huskies in style. Visit now to get special holiday rates on select purchases. The Husky Sideline store, presented by BSN Sports. I have to pick up some new gear for Christmas coming up, Blake.
Yeah, I know. I went on the website for the store and said my dad was asking, "What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "I need some more Huskies gear." So
yeah, a couple sweatshirts.
I needed a nice crew neck.
Yeah, they got everything you need over there. And again, holiday rates on a couple of purchases. St. Cloud put a beat down here on UMary here in this second half. 46-58. 13:30 left on the clock. And one of those numbers that we've touched on throughout the broadcast here, Blake, UMary from beyond the arc, not hot by any means, just 25%, but they're 1 for their last 5 as well. So that's the number that's going to need to change here if they want to climb back into this one. Now they're showing a lax full court press.
Well, that's something St. Cloud State, we've seen them do it. They trotted out on their second or third defensive possession of the game, and so they've got to find some sort of way to slow down St. Cloud State offensively.
Roberts, top of the key, driving on Jackson. Jackson, great defense. Out for Bagley. 4-3 from the top of the key, and that one rattles out. Jackson the rebound. Huntsberry, the leading scorer for UMary, will dish it off for Mattern. Plenty of time and space, but an offensive foul on Huntsberry.
Trying to set a screen, and his feet were still moving. He was never set, and so those are some of the things UMary's done today as well that have just, hurt. They've shot themselves in the foot, quite frankly, and they've committed a lot of offensive fouls as well, turning the ball back over to St. Cloud State. And I mean, look, when you're down, especially by 12, with just about 13 minutes to play, you've got to be near perfect the rest of the way, and UMary is starting to run out of time to have that perfect mark.
Now Roberts, lightly double team, Bagley on the cut. Ball movement around the court here for St. Cloud. Donaldson yet to miss a basket, and he still has not through contact. Come on, Blake.
That's got to be the hardest one he's made tonight, Sam. And a little up and under on the right-handed scoop.
Caleb Donaldson, everything is falling so far as Mattern drives in, and just like Caleb Donaldson gets it to fall. 12-point lead for St. Cloud, just over 12 minutes left in regulation, and the Huskies, one of the top point scorers here in all of the conference as a team, averaging 82.5 points a game. That's 5th best in the league. I mean, that's not too bad numbers. They're on pace for that right now, Blake.
Yeah, they certainly are, Sam. And listen, they're one of the better scoring teams in the country in Division II. Nearly 300 teams at this level, and they're in the top 50. So they've been great. As that one from Roberts a little bit too strong.
Taylor, the offensive board, reset the shot clock. We'll see what they can do here with another chance. Bagley near the logo. Gets the screen. He'll step back. Three-pointer, long distance, no good. Another rebound. Roberts, foul before he can go up with the dunk. I think that's going to be on Anthony Roberts. He pushed off to get that rebound.
It was a good rebound if there wasn't a foul there. But, I mean, you're right, Sam. Up and over the back, and for him, that's a tough foul to take.
One rebound away from a double-double for Anthony Roberts. Couple of big performances here for St. Cloud, him and Caleb Donaldson. Donaldson 4 points away from a season high, or tying his season high of 29.
Donaldson, Roberts, the leading rebounder for St. Cloud State, Sam. And you mentioned it, a rebound away from that double-double. You don't see that too often out of him.
Tomasi wreaking havoc down there by the basket, throwing basketballs back. And I think there's going to be another foul here called on Roberts. He's not happy with it. That's his second one in a string of about a minute. Baseline inbound here for UMary. What did you see on the replay there, Blake?
Just ball bouncing around. Nobody really ever had clean possession. They didn't have the greatest look at it.
And Jackson fighting through contact, flies it over the hoop. Another foul here on St. Cloud. Don't want to get in foul trouble right now. Don't want to allow UMary to get to the line.
Both teams now with 3 team fouls here in the second half. And so St. Cloud State, you mentioned you don't want to put UMary at the charity stripe. For them, they're 77% second in the NSIC. So
not too shabby.
They'll take advantage of those free points almost all day long.
Well, Jackson knocks down the first one. 73% from the stripe for Jackson on the season so far. He's now up to 6 points. There's that last foul once again. 10-point lead for St. Cloud. Full court press here by UMary. And the Huskies are able to break it easily. Ryan Bagley on the logo, out for Donaldson. Donaldson perfect from the field. 24 points. Now Willard. Using the big body Tomasi to screen his defender in Jackson. He'll use it again. Now Tomasi, top of the key, three-pointer. Just a little off the mark, and now here comes UMary.
It just came out a little bit flat there, Sam, and sometimes when you're a bigger guy like that, the jump shot doesn't have the best arc on it.
Long three, rainbowing over. That was Trayton Mattern testing his range. Now Donaldson in transition. The lay-in is good.
And he's up to 27, Sammy. You mentioned it pretty much coming out of the half. That when he was at 17, that 29 season high mark would probably be threatened here today. Is some soft defense inside. Tough miss for UMary.
Urban Avicius can't get it to drop. The former Fighting Hawk from the University of North Dakota. He's been fairly quiet tonight. Only 4 points after coming into this game averaging 10 a game. Now Tomasi with Urban Avicius on him. Back out for Bagley. Bagley on the drive. Will take it out and recollect. 5 on the shot clock. Have to get one out. Bagley, good moves. He's double teamed. He'll throw one up. Hits the iron, but it's short. Referees blew the whistle. He's going to say it's his fault. It did touch the rim, but that'll cause a stoppage as another immediate timeout on the floor. 12-point lead.
As the WCHA has teamed up with Big Ten Network Plus to broadcast all league games for this upcoming season, and that includes your very own SCSU Huskies. We want to make sure you don't miss any of the action this season. To help you with that, there are an assortment of passes available to you that gives you the option to watch your Huskies and the rest of the WCHA any way you want all season long. Get your subscription now by heading over to Big Ten Network Plus at BTN plus.com. And make sure to check out the Huskies live on the BTN Plus app.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
St. Cloud State with a 12-point lead coming out of the break. Blake, you asked me in that break, what is Caleb Donaldson shooting? Well, to answer your question, 100%. 27 points, 2 away from a season high. He's a couple away from his career high of 33, which he actually set against UMary just the other season. So, I mean, him against the Marauders is not a match made in heaven for the boys in blue.
Yeah, certainly not. You look at it right there, 27 points, 4 assists. And listen, when he's had the ball, he's been getting it passed right to him, right in the pocket, easy catch and shoots. He's done a great job on the dribble drive. And I've been really impressed with his baseline play. And the baseline skill set for him as a guard has been incredible. I mean, we've seen him go up and under. We've seen him have to fade away some really difficult looks. And he's looked phenomenal offensively for St. Cloud State.
Cam Warren's aggressive out of the timeout, gets the basket to fall. He continues his day. He's now up to 9 points, close to double figures. Donaldson, the man we just talked about, now on the baseline, double teamed here. Tomasi on the block, off the window, no good. Offensive board, Roberts tapped away. Now Trayton Mattern will bring it up the floor. And we're starting to see it here, Blake, defensively for UMary as they set up their offense. Warren's thought about a 3. If you double team Donaldson, that just leaves plenty of other good scorers wide open.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, what are you going to do at this point? The guy's not missing as that ball's tipped out of bounds. He'll stay with UMary. I mean, what else are you going to do to defend? Right. I mean, you almost you have to, and you say if somebody else can beat us tonight, fine. I mean, he's not missing, quite literally isn't missing. And so, obviously, the tough thing is you've got Roberts who can do quite a bit. You got Tomasi as well who can chip in offensively.
Hunsberry out onto the baseline. Jackson, awkward layup, and he gets it to drop. Jackson off the bench has been a spark plug here for UMary tonight. Under double digits for the first time in a long time, at least this whole second half, Blake. Bagley beyond the arc. He's met by Warrens. Got bodied with the shoulder, so he'll get called. That one's going to be on the floor. We're getting close to the bonus range here, Blake.
That's that 4th-team foul on UMary here in the second half.
Donaldson out of the inbound. He'll get the ball right back. He'll set up the offense. 15 on the shot clock, 8 minutes on the game clock. Bagley. Back up for Donaldson on the wing. Gets a screen. Donaldson driving into the lane. He'll throw one up. Oh, it almost fell. That's going to be his first miss. It's going to stay with St. Cloud State. Well, the perfect shooting percentage from the field is gone. Awkward jump shot there from Caleb Donaldson. I think at this point,
maybe
I don't think it matters for him what he's shooting, but as long as he can get the basket in the bottom of the net.
Yeah, I mean, Megan mentioned a bit of an awkward shot. They got him late in the shot clock, and he just didn't have a choice. Nice finish there from Bagley driving inside.
Bagley floating above the restricted arc. He's coming alive here in the second half. 4 points after having nothing in the first. Mattern with Willard on him. Off for Jackson. Jackson, great cut on the pass, and the lay-in is good. Amundsen was right there, snuck on the back door and laid it in with the reverse.
Nice weak side cut there from Amundsen, gets right in easily, cuts towards the basket. And you mentioned that's an easy finish on the inside. As UMary's cut this down, Sam, to an 8-point game.
Well, they'll cut into it a little bit more if they can convert here. Warren's reverse, no good. Offensive board still out there, and Amundsen will lay it in.
And down to 6 here, Sam. And we saw UMary go on a run like this. Remember back in that first half, right around this same time frame left in the first half, they went on that 9-0 run.
All right, we got a ball game here, Blake, on the NSIC network. Roberts down low, Tomasi hit him in the shoe. Friday night hoops here inside of Hollenbeck. It's going to come down to the wire here unless St. Cloud can pull away. Kai Huntsberry on the logo. Around one, now Jackson left all alone. 4-3, gets it to fall. You're exactly right. Timeout called. 3-point lead for the Huskies. And UMary climbing right back.
They've done a great job here, Sam, over this last little string.
Take a look at the replay of that last three-pointer by Jackson. Jackson, as I mentioned, a great spark plug coming off of the bench. He's putting together some fairly impressive numbers. 12 points, one of the three overall UMary Marauders in double figures. 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. And if you're Matt Reimer, all right, boys, let's settle down. Let's just get the easy shots. We don't need to get too fancy with the passes like we've seen in the past couple of minutes.
That's what I was going to say, Sam. Well, first of all, they've turned the ball over a lot here over the last couple of offensive possessions, but they've also done a really poor job of getting easy looks or passing up on easy looks. I mean, the dribble drive that we saw in that first half and to start out the second half here has kind of gone, has just kind of disappeared. It's been non-existent. St. Cloud State's got to find a way to get back to that. It's just been tough sledding for them here over the last 3 minutes or so.
Some communication here at the scores table. Cam Warren's having a conversation with the referee. I think they were confused about the substitutions out of the timeout, but we're good to go now. Just over 6 left here in the second half. UMary on a 7-0 run in the last minute and 30 seconds. Bagley on the wing. Back out for Willard. Willard's been quiet, only 2 points tonight so far. Taylor, who just checked in after the timeout, down low for Donaldson. Poked away. Donaldson picks it back up. Willard for 3 on the way. Off the side of the rim.
Just not the look you want to get out of that, Sam. Right now they're doubling Donaldson in the post, and St. Cloud State's got to find a way. If they're going to double him, Donaldson's got to pass out of it, and they got to knock down their open looks.
Dangerous pass, poked away. St. Cloud in transition. Roberts, good defense on the way back here for UMary. Now back out for Willard. Bagley on the other end. Bagley on the baseline. Awkward pass down low for Donaldson. Off the window, high and in. The basket is an ocean for Caleb Donaldson here tonight. He's now tied his season high of 29.
And he wanted to get a call on that one, Sam, and maybe so got a little bit of body there. And Donaldson's just been phenomenal. I mean, once St. Cloud State, once he gets the ball down in the low post, it's just too easy of a finish given up there. Donaldson's not missing.
Under 5 minutes left to go. 3-point lead. This one will come down to the wire here on the NSIC network. Roberts out for Bagley. Back up to Roberts. Now the drive. Warren's good defense. Bagley left all alone. The lay-in is good.
Well, we've seen Bagley pass out of the drive so often, Sam, and so UMary kind of just vacated the paint, assuming he was going to kick it out. And listen, he may not be the most lethal point scorer for St. Cloud State, but they can't give up easy looks like that.
Huskies fans wanted to walk. Now in the corner, Amundsen with the drive. Hard rush to the basket and a charge. Great job by Anthony Roberts to set his feet, pick it up. Offensive foul. Hey, Huskies fans, stay tuned as the SCSU women's basketball team, they take their turn on the court as they welcome in UMary for a big NSIC conference showdown coming up after the conclusion of this one. Catch it live here on the NSIC network or on the SCSU Athletic social media network. That's immediately following the men's game once again. That should be a lot of fun. UMary, St. Cloud State on the women's side. The Huskies women's team in the top 25 for the first time in about 15 years. 5-1 so far this season. They're going to look to give UMary their hands full later on tonight.
Yeah, they're going to give UMary their hands full. UMary in that game later on, their women are going to have to find ways to get points up. St. Cloud State, 6th best team in the country defensively at Division II level, best in the NSIC. And so, I mean, you're absolutely right. That team that's worked its way inside the top 25 for the first time in a long time it's deserved. They're a very good team defensively, and if they can knock down their open looks, they win most of their games.
5-point lead for the men's team here with under 5 minutes left to go. And Blake, if you were to look back at the half, would you think we'd be at this point?
No, I really didn't. And even, the start of this second half as well. I can't remember how big the lead ballooned for St. Cloud State to come out in the second half too, but it was more than 10 at multiple points, and turnovers, a couple of knockdown shots from UMary, and some really porous for St. Cloud State, especially down in the paint. I mean, they've given up easy looks to cutters going to the basket off the weak side, and that's what's drawn this down to a tight one. And I can't quite say that I'm surprised though, Sam. I mean, UMary, they brought a lot of fight. They've adjusted to the ways that they needed to, slowing down Donaldson. You know, really forcing St. Cloud State deep into shot clocks here in the last about 4 or 5 minutes. Huskies haven't had much of a response.
Donaldson spinning away from his defender, Hunsberry, to the basket. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Good opportunity for 2 more for Caleb Donaldson. Career high of 33. Knocking on the doorstep. And Donaldson, his ability to get to the basket, no matter how tight of a defense that UMary puts on him, is just uber impressive.
Yeah, and Hunsberry, I mean, UMary's had a lot of turnovers as Donaldson knocks in that first one. New season high, he's up to 30 now. But Hunsberry tried to jump that pass, and St. Cloud State's been prone to turnovers. He tried to make the read, and he was just a step out ahead of it, and that allowed Donaldson the easy blow-by to get into the paint and draw the foul.
Donaldson perfect from the line so far. There's another one.
I mean, man, he's missed the hoop once tonight, Sam.
Yeah.
It was at the end of a shot clock on a fourth shot. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
Warren's in the corner, back out for Hunsberry. Hunsberry with the team leading 12 points. Driving it on Taylor, size advantage for Taylor, off for Amundsen. 3 Huskies are right there. Amundsen will walk with it. Double dribble is what the referees will say. That's a turnover. St. Cloud State possession.
And it could have been a travel too, Sam. And that's a great job by St. Cloud State, just forcing Amundsen. I mean, they gave him nowhere to go. And UMary, they don't have a lot of size when they go down in the post like that. I mean, it's tough to just look up over everybody and pass out of it, especially with the size that St. Cloud State has.
Under 4 to go, 15 on the shot clock. Willard wide open for 3. Willard for 3, bucket in the foul. 4-point play coming here for Matt Willard, the sharpshooter.
On Amundsen, wasn't a big call, but we'll get another look at it here. I mean, the shot was beautiful. The follow-through from Willard was great. And let's see, I mean, yeah, he got him on that left hand. And, you know, Willard maybe spilled a little bit harder than that foul may have been. But, I mean, regardless, you can't land. You know, you can't defend as a defender. You can't come down where where the shooter's feet are going to come down and land. And you got to give him space to come down cleanly. I mean, we've seen that in the NBA level. Zaza Pachulia a couple of years ago in the NBA Finals. I mean, came down, hurt Kawhi Leonard, and I mean, we've seen it. You know, it's player safety rule. You can't be where the shooter's trying to come down and land.
Matt Willard, a sophomore this season, converts the 4-point play, a 2,000-point scorer in his high school days. Holds plenty of high school records back there in Buffalo, and Hunsberry is able to answer quickly with a 3-pointer straight away. 8-point lead still for St. Cloud. UMary's going to have to get some quick baskets if they do want to close in on this gap. Donaldson wanted a foul. Now Bagley, back to Donaldson. Taylor, top of the key. Bagley on the wing. Good ball movement here. Cutting is Willard. Roberts on the other wing. He'll take the baseline. Roberts back for Taylor. 2 on the shot clock. Willard, turnaround jumper, in and out. Rebound, Urban Avicius. Ty Hunsberry with 15. He'll take it to the basket with the left hand, off of the window and in.
A nice finish. St. Cloud State's got to be better here offensively. I understand you take it down in the shot clock. You're trying to bleed time off here, but I mean, there's a 6-point lead right now. I mean, there's still plenty of time in this basketball game. You got to make a couple of more shots. You can't just rely on time running out on UMary.
Roberts driving, loses it in between his legs. Warren's the rebound. UMary with numbers the other way. Warren's plenty of space on the right side, but he'll give it out for Hunsberry. Hunsberry calling for ISO. He'll get a screen. Size differential here. Hunsberry taking it to the basket. Foul before the shot. That's going to be on Luke Taylor. He'll come out of the game. Taylor, that's his 3rd.
That's that 4th foul, Sam, on St. Cloud State. So one more, they'll head to the bonus. Look at that drive from Hunsberry, and Taylor just didn't really give him much room to work with, and wasn't a lot of contact there, but enough to draw the whistle.
Long inbound. Sipes will pick it up. He just checks in for the Marauders. Now Huntsbury being tested to go drive with his right hand. Now straight away, Urban Avicius for three. He knocks it down. 3-point lead for the Huskies. Gertadis, Urban Avicius, Big U from downtown. Takes him into timeout. Take another look at this one, Blake. Urban Avicius, the pick and pop.
Yeah, that's pick and pop, beautifully executed there, Sam. And Tomasi just didn't get up onto it quickly enough, and St. Cloud State they're going to be left scrambling now here over the next final minute 41.
Buck 41 left to go. And for head coach Matt Reimer, you see him there in the timeout, really trying to hammer the message into his players of what they want to do defensively.
I mean, I'd be more worried about what you need to do offensively right now. We talked about it on that last offensive possession for St. Cloud State. They had a turnover on it. They cannot, I mean, there's not enough time left in this game. You can't just dribble the clock out. You're going to have to get a couple of more buckets to drop in order to come away with this. And now we're going to see UMary bring that hard press at the half court.
Donaldson will look to break the press by himself. It's pretty lax, as Huntsbury was the only one who really committed to it. Now Bagley on the defensive switch. Huntsbury's on him. He gets a screen from Tomasi. Bagley into the corner for Willard. And we'll have a stoppage. That's going to be
Willard stepped
out of bounds on the line. That's a costly turnover here for St. Cloud.
Oh, they're unforced errors, Sam. I mean, that's a tough turnover. The simple thing, don't step out of bounds. Roberts turned it over on the last offensive possession, just poorly driving into a double team. And St. Cloud State, I mean, UMary's picked it up offensively, but St. Cloud State, part of this deficit disappearing is to their own credit.
Huntsbury dancing all over the paint. Can't get the jumper to fall. Bagley the rebound. Now here comes Anthony Roberts. Roberts full head of steam to the basket. The lay-in is good, and the foul.
Well, how about that finish from Anthony Roberts? Just sees the lane, takes it, and you could tell right once he got that ball, he starts to push it up. We watch it here. He crosses half court, and that's when the Jets turn on. Lays that left shoulder in. Maybe a little bit of an offensive foul, but gets away with it. Drives into the paint, and the easy finish.
Roberts knocks down the free throw. He's got 18 tonight. Donaldson leading the way with 31. 6-point lead under a minute left. Huntsbury looking to take it himself. He gets the basket and the foul. Kai Huntsbury taking this ball game for UMary and putting it in his hands, Blake.
Yeah, and he's got a chance to get up to 20 here if he can bank in this free throw. That's St. Cloud State's 5th foul here in the half as well. UMary right now, I mean, they've just done a great job. I mean, inside the paint, they've done a much better job here in the second half. And, you know, I'd love to see a shot chart of where these guys have taken shots in the second half. It's just been much better decision-making and much more. It's been easier looks allowed by St. Cloud State as well. They just have not been very good inside, and that's where UMary is going to find success.
So before we shoot the ensuing free throw to complete the three-point play, referees had a conversation there, and they'll allow both teams to go to the bench. Here's Kai Huntsbury on the last drive. I don't know. Maybe they'll try to figure out if there was a foul or not. They are at the review booth, taking a look at this one once again.
Sam, to me, I think he leans in there, but I don't think there was much of a foul. I mean, he leaned in, created a little bit of separation. We'll get another look at it here, and so now we'll see. Drives in on Donaldson. Donaldson shuffles his feet pretty well. There's not much there. I mean, Donaldson's, I don't know. To me, this is a 50-50 call, Sam.
Yeah, both Huskies look like they were straight up, and Donaldson and Tomasi. I mean, this is a big spot here. If Huntsbury does get the call, knocks down the shot, it's just a one-possession game with 46.2 on the clock.
And that's huge. Sam, I mean, to make this a one-point game or one-possession game, rather, I should say.
Yeah.
Get another look at it.
Taking plenty of looks at it. Referees are doing the same. Good finish by Kai Huntsberry, nonetheless, with plenty of traffic down there.
There's certainly contact, too, Sam. That's not the question. I mean, right around the top of the arc, drives in, puts that left shoulder down, and
Tomasi does come in, jumping to try to contest.
Now, who did they call the foul on, Sam?
It would have been on Donaldson, his second of the game. The referees are still converging after watching the replay a couple of times. Big spot here in the ball game.
I think they're going to stick with the call on the floor of the and one. Look, to me it was a 50-50. I don't know if there was enough to clear and evidently say that it should have been overturned. And so it's a huge free throw here for Huntsberry. He can get up to 20 points, but more importantly, pulls his team within a possession.
Huntsberry well above his season average right here. And a big free throw falls for the Marauders. 3-point lead. Full court press. St. Cloud has to rush here. And the question begs, Blake, when do you get into the foul game? Well, there's the answer right there.
Yeah, I think the full court press was kind of telling him when the foul was going to come, because Roberts was just kind of sitting in the front court waiting for that.
And for the Huskies as a team entering today, 71% from the stripe, 9th in the conference. Ryan Bagley this season, one of the top shooters at the free throw line, 82%. First one of the bonus is good. And again, I've never been a huge fan of the foul game in the game of basketball. Everything's got to work, as you see the numbers there for Kai Huntsberry. As Bagley knocks down the first two. Everything's got to work offensively. You're going to play the foul game, because depending on how the other team does at the stripe can really shoot you in the foot.
Well, in St. Cloud State as well. I mean, if this comes down to a three-point shot.
Well, there's a three-point shot there. Urban Avicius, no good. Warren's the rebound, high in the air. Warren's another rebound. Now kicks it out for Huntsberry. And a whistle on the floor. We'll see who they call this foul on. That's going to be on Bagley, his second of the game.
And Sam, the thing I was going to say about St. Cloud State, too, is once UMary enters the bonus, I mean, is it advantageous for the Huskies to foul them as well?
Huntsberry easily to the basket. 23.2 left on the clock. Still a three-point game. UMary has to foul. Shot clock turned off. Bagley all the way to the hoop and in. Bagley didn't need a foul to pick up 2 points. Now Huntsberry has to hurry right to the basket, and he answers with a layup. We're going back and forth. Roberts all alone crossing the timeline. He can slow down. UMary needs to make some contact, and they finally do. 6 flat left here in regulation, and it's a 3-point game. These free throws couldn't come in a bigger time for Anthony Roberts.
You're absolutely right, Sam, and he's just really got to make one of them. You know, if he goes 1 for 2, you can pretty much seal this game the rest of the way. And it looked like UMary, Sam, was trying to play for a turnover to try and force one, especially off that inbounds play, 2 inbounds plays ago. And it just didn't really work out for them, and I think right there they let a little bit too much time bleed off the clock. And credit to St. Cloud State off the inbound. It was a great pass ahead to Roberts. He was just kind of open right around half court, was able to dribble out an extra 5 seconds and knocks down both those free throws as well. That could just seal the Marauders' fate.
That may be the daggers. Roberts, after those free throws, 4 for 4. Tomasi's going to come out for Mutimer, so the Huskies are playing small just to get some shooters out there now. Now Huntsberry has to hurry. Cross court, Warren's three-pointer. No good. That'll run out the clock. The Huskies pick up a 5-point win. It came down to the wire, but eventually St. Cloud State pulled away. They answered big offensively when they needed it here in the second half.
Yeah, it wasn't great. There were a lot of turnovers, but you mentioned it. In the moments that counted is when those guys came through. And you look at this game, I mean, what a performance from Caleb Donaldson as well as Anthony Roberts. Those two were just on fire. I mean, Donaldson in particular, the guy missed, 1 shot here this entire matchup. And St. Cloud State's the gutsy win here. I think momentum that whole second half, you could just feel it was right on the razor's edge of tipping full way for UMary, and the Huskies did a really good job of just holding on long enough.
So for St. Cloud, they now move to 5-5 overall and 2-2 in conference play. And we're going to send it down to Michaela Wren. She's down there courtside with game's leading scorer in Caleb Donaldson. Michaela.
All right, I'm over here with Caleb Donaldson. Caleb, you've gone double digits in scoring every game this season. What has been a key to your success so far?
I don't know. I can just score. Like, I don't even take a lot of jump shots, but I did tonight. But it's not a lot of people that can stop me going downhill, especially when you got a point guard like Ryan Bagley throwing it up ahead of me. We got other threats too, so it's just easy.
Yeah. Awesome. And tomorrow you're playing Minot State. What can you expect to see in this matchup?
They're a tough team, but we're a tough team too. We don't back down to anybody, so we want to come out aggressive, and hopefully that works for us.
All right, thank you, Caleb. I'll let you go enjoy the win.
Appreciate it.
All right, back to you guys.
Hey, thank you very much, Michaela, with Caleb Donaldson. New season high, 31 points. Blake, that'll wrap it up for this game. St. Cloud State picks up the win. Coming up later, it's the women's team taking on UMary. That'll be here on the NSIC network. So we'll be back for that once again. Have a great rest of your night.